Thanks for tuning in. Ham Talk Live will be on the air shortly. Please stand by. Thanks for tuning in. Ham Talk Live will be on the air shortly. Please stand by. This episode of Ham Talk Live is brought to you by Tower Electronics. For connectors, cables, and more, call 920-435-2973 or visit pl-259.com. And by ICOM. Heard it, worked it, logged it. Visit www.icomamerica.com/amateur for more information about ICOM radios.
It's Ham Radio.
Hey, good evening, everyone. It's time for Ham Talk Live. It's episode number 226. The Collegiate QSO Party and the changes for COVID-19 recorded live on Thursday, September the 10th, 2020. I'm your host, Neil Rapp, WB9VPG. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Ham Talk Live. Tonight we're joined by Tony Milluzzi, KD8RTT, and Andy Milluzzi, KK4LWR, and we will take your calls, as we always do, in just a few minutes. Last week was Joe Eisenberg's turn, K0NEB, to talk about some new CW kits. If you missed that show, you can listen anytime at hamtalklive.com or on your favorite podcast app, or you can find us on YouTube, or Saturdays at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. You can hear the rebroadcast each week on WTWW. That's 5085 AM. Again, that's Saturday afternoons, about 3:30 Eastern Time over on WTWW. Okay, so get your questions ready to go. We're going to talk about some collegiate club stuff, and specifically the QSO Party and some changes that are coming to this year's event because of the pandemic, and ways that you can catch up with your alma mater. So we'll be back to talk about that with Andy and Tony right after this word from ICOM America right here on Ham Talk Live. Get out and be active with ICOM's new IC705 and its optional multi-function backpack. The IC705 is your perfect QRP companion, as you have base station features and functionality at the tip of your fingers in a portable package covering HF, 6 meters, 2 meters, and 70 centimeters. This compact rig weighs in at 1 kilogram or just over 2 pounds, with RF direct sampling for most of the HF band and IF sampling for frequencies above 25 megahertz, and a large 4.3-inch color touch screen with live band scope and waterfall. It runs 5 watts with a BP272 battery, 10 watts with 13.8 volts DC. You have sideband, CW, AM, FM, as well as full D-Star functions. The touch screen, micro USB connector, Bluetooth, wireless LAN, integrated GPS with antenna and GPS logger. The micro SD card slot, speaker mic comes standard and supports QRP operations. And the perfect accessory for your IC705 is the optional backpack LC192 with a special compartment for your IC705 and room for accessories for soda activations or just a day in the park. The IC705 has now received FCC certification, and we expect product to be shipping to dealers by the end of September. Visit icomamerica.com/amateur for more information on ICOM radios.
5 out of 4 people have trouble with fractions. Now, here's Neil Rapp with more Ham Talk Live.
Welcome back to Ham Talk Live. Thanks to ICOM America for sponsoring tonight's show, as they always do. Check them out at icomamerica.com/amateur. And tonight, our guests are some familiar folks to the show. Andy Milluzzi, KK4LWR. He is the past president of the Gator Amateur Radio Club at the University of Florida in Gainesville, and the current president of the Disney Emergency Amateur Radio Service. He is currently a systems engineer for Walt Disney Parks and Resorts in Florida. He is a key leader in the ARRL Collegiate Amateur Radio Initiative, or CARI as they like to call it. Groups that's been formed to share and promote ideas to rejuvenate amateur radio clubs in colleges and universities in North America. Andy came into ham radio thanks to his brother Tony, KD8RTT. Tony just went back to school and finished his master's in electrical engineering from Ohio University, where he was the amateur radio club president. And during undergrad, he was the president of the Rose Tech Amateur Radio Club, W9NAA, at Rose-Hulman in Terre Haute, Indiana. Tony is a pilot and also a key leader in the ARRL Collegiate Amateur Radio Initiative. You can find him on the satellites or operating CW or portable on HF. So, guys, thanks for coming back on the show.
Yeah, thanks again for having us, Neil.
Always good to talk to you, and we've had a chance to talk quite a bit. And Troy, W9KVR, says good evening to both of you, and good to hear you guys once again. So, COVID, this is a real shocker here. COVID actually messed up plans.
I mean, right? Who would have thought?
I mean, surely not.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's certainly,
you're in your third year, and now you've got COVID to deal with.
Yeah. It's a curveball, but I think it's a curveball that we can actually use to make the QSO Party even more accessible.
Well, that's what we're going to talk about.
Yeah, we've kind of revamped. We revamped the rules a little bit to kind of accommodate this and encourage clubs, no matter their situation, to participate. So, if you looked at this in the past, again, the QSO Party is open to all hams. You don't have to be associated with a college. But we've changed some of the entry categories a little bit on the collegiate side so that if a club is operating from their club shack like they would typically, that's fine. If your students are distributed across the country or the area, whatever, they can also participate separately. And we've also introduced an aggregate club score that kind of ties those together. So really trying to kind of encourage people, no matter the situation, to get on the air, make contacts, and participate.
Well, we'll address all the changes here specifically in a little bit, but first, it is the third year for this event. Refresh everybody's memory about the Collegiate QSO Party and who participates and how it's scored under normal circumstances.
So this event is really open to everyone, although it tries to focus on new hams, specifically those in, college and universities or technical schools. But it is open to anyone. And the idea is to celebrate either where you went to school, connecting with the club at the school you might have attended, or just sharing your, favorite college experiences, as well as giving those students something immediate to start off their year. When Tony and I both were, working with our clubs back in college and at, in grad school, one of the big challenges is, getting people on the radio quickly and getting them engaged. I think once you get someone on the air, it's very easy to get them excited about the hobby, but you got to get them on the air. And this, the timing of this event is really timed to be that sort of, okay, school's back in session, or in some cases, school's going to start in the next week or so. Let's get everyone together at an activities fair and say, hey, this coming weekend, there is something that you can do.
Yeah, that's always rule number one, getting youth into ham radio, is get them on the air. Don't start with the test. That's always rule number one. Learned that one a long time ago. So let's talk a little bit about the plans for this year. You've already mentioned, an overview of some of those changes. So let's dig into that a little bit and how things are going to be a little different this year.
Yeah, sure. So like I said, we've kind of reorganized the categories of entry on the operating classes. So like we said, anyone can participate. You don't have to be associated with a school, but we have some operating classes that are for alumni or employee, faculty, or staff of a college, and then the college stations. And like I said, you've got kind of two classes depending on how your club might be operating, whether the club can operate kind of as normal out of the shack, or people could take turns during the period from the club shack. Or if people want to operate separately, they have their own home stations and they want their points to count towards the club. We have an aggregate way to do that also. So there's really all the different situations we try to cover in some way, and just encourage operation and make it easy and not get too caught up in, a lot of the details that could make it difficult for people to figure out a way to get on the air.
So what do people need to know to operate this thing if they're not involved with a college, or maybe they're just an alumnus and they're just getting on the air just for fun through this? What do they need to know?
So we've really gone for a simple exchange that to give new folks a way not to feel overwhelmed. You're going to exchange your call signs, of course, your signal report, and then you're going to exchange the class that you are in the event. So if you're just wanting to get on the air, you might want to be an alumni, representing the club you used to be part of, or you might want to identify yourself as just an individual, a non affiliate sort of thing. And then you would pass along a school identifier. So if you are, like for me, I'll be involved, probably as an alumni member of the Gator Amateur Radio Club. So I'd identify as an alumni class, and then I'd say my school affiliation is the University of Florida. Go Gators. And make sure to exchange, that with someone else, and hopefully hear from them the same, or a different, category or class. And I like to think of it, since it's a QSO party, it's not supposed to be super duper competitive. Maybe there's more to the QSO exchange than that. I love talking to schools, and when you get that chance saying, "Oh, tell me about your club," or I've talked to a number of other Gators on the radio doing stuff like this. So there might be some talking about Kentucky or whatever, and their football program when I talk to another Gator and how the Gators are better, and that sort of thing for a little bit.
Yeah, I was just getting ready to say, I was planning my next thing here. This is usually the part of the program where Andy and I start trash talking Florida versus Kentucky football, and
I saw it in your Facebook story today.
That's a little tough. But did you notice? Did you notice the promotions for this show? We used a picture of a college campus. Did you notice that picture?
I did pick up on that picture. I did pick up on it.
It was
I could have provided you
the Willie T, as they call it at the University of Kentucky. That's the new. Well, I guess it's not real new now, but new to me.
I'll make sure that I'll provide you a wonderful picture of the UF antenna farm that you can use for next year.
There we go. Okay. All right. Not the O-Dome.
No, not the O'Connell.
No.
I'll show you the radio club.
Yeah, well, it's usually about time to be doing that, but COVID messed up everything. So
I know. But hey, we got the QSO party to sort of keep that college spirit alive.
There we go. So we'll just fight it out on the airwaves on the score. So how has the participation been? This is year 3, and I know I was talking with you guys when you were putting this thing together and looking for some ways to keep it interesting and keep it going. How have things gone now that you're up to year 3?
So it's varied year to year. And, the other kind of thing we've been participating in and kind of leading are these monthly calls with college clubs and that sort of thing. Just kind of keep interest, participation, discussion going in between. And, is probably most people would expect college or collegiate radio, it goes up and down year to year, and you can kind of sense some of these trends coming. So, the first year was pretty good, pretty strong number of entries. Last year, it was a little bit quieter, didn't have as many, but this year we've seen a lot more participation from college clubs in general, despite the challenges. So I think, it's looking good for this year to be probably the biggest year yet with in terms of entries and kind of people knowing about it. So, it's a constant thing we're trying to push, kind of understanding how it varies with college clubs and just doing the best we can to, keep it moving along and get people the support they need and events like this to get excited about.
Now, I read something about some even remote operating possibilities on this. What you got going there?
So we decided this year, with COVID, being in a shack might be difficult. At UF, with social distancing, we could maybe fit 2 people in the shack there total. And a lot of clubs are similar size or even smaller. So we wanted to be, cognizant of that and accommodating. So this year we're allowing remote operation in a couple of different ways. You can do a actual remote station where your club members can log into your amateur radio shack if you have it set up as that, and operate remotely from there. And we actually heard a great talk from Cal Poly on our calls a couple of months ago, how they set up this summer a remote shack so that their members, even with COVID, because some are, stuck out of state, some are stuck in other cities, that they can participate and be active. So they have a really cool way that they can call in and get on the air. That's, for this year, the first time that's allowed as regular operation for the QSO Party. And then the other one is actually sort of a distributed club. As Tony mentioned earlier with our classes, your club might say all of our individual members are going to get on the air. We're going to loan them HTs, or we're going to loan them, HF rigs, and they might go to a park and throw a wire up in a tree sort of thing. And they can all operate under their own call sign and count that credit towards their club. Which is sort of a distributed remote way that they can all participate as well. So a couple of different ways that we've tried to be really accommodating and embrace the challenges of COVID, and hopefully allow that to get more students on the air and make it a lot more accessible. We aren't allowing, college clubs to go rent a big remote station and have, a 5-element beam on 160 meters and down, for, the QSO Party. It's still got to be like their club station and that sort of thing. But it does open it up to where, maybe they can't access their station after hours, but because they're remote, they can, enjoy the party into the evening or, stuff like that. So really trying to connect everyone and try something different. So we'll see how this goes. This is going to be a really new and exciting rule change this year.
All right, so remind everybody of the dates on this and where they can find all the rules and information.
Yep, so it takes place Saturday, September 19th at midnight UTC, basically, to Sunday, September 20th to 11:59. So that whole period, you can find all the detailed rules and everything, log submissions at collegiatecqsoparty.com.
Okay, there you go. So
and there
coming
will
up
also
in 9 days.
Yep, and there will also be a packet on there as well. Right now, we have everything listed on the website, but we will have a packet that we'll post up there that will have all the content there, plus some sample, exchange scripts and all that sort of stuff that you can download, because that might be easier if you're operating remotely or something like that.
Yeah, and those scripts are always good for getting newbies on the air. That's always a big help. So if you have a little script there to have the exchange in front of the operator, that's always a good thing. All right, well, we're going to take a break, and we'll come back and talk some more with Tony and Andy, and take your calls and your questions right after this word from Tower Electronics right here on Ham Talk Live.
Jerry, what's up, man? I haven't seen you at Sunbucks in a while. I used to see you every morning getting coffee. What's up?
Well, I can't afford Sunbucks 5 days a week anymore. I had to spend my money on PL259s. You know, those antenna projects I've been meaning to do. I had to do them before my HOA finds out I have antennas.
That's too bad, Jerry. I miss seeing you and catching up over coffee. You should get your PL259s from Tower Electronics. They have great stuff. Jerry, you're back. Oh, QRM Heterodyne Frappuccino. That's a good choice. How's it going? Did you get all those antennas up before the HOA police showed up?
Yeah, I got them all done. Thanks for telling me about Tower Electronics. Now I can have my coffee. I just saved a bunch of money on my PL259s by switching to Tower Electronics.
Don't get caught without PL259s. Visit Tower Electronics online at pl-259.com or at a Hamfest near you. Or give them a call at 920-435-2973. And be sure to pick up some power poles, adapters, and cables too.
Join the conversation. Give us a call at 859-982-7373. Again, the number to call is 859-982-7373. Or, if you'd rather type than talk, tweet us at Ham Talk Live. Now, here's Neil Rapp with more Ham Talk Live.
Ham Talk Live with Neil Rapp.
Welcome back to Ham Talk Live. Tower Electronics is looking for Hamfests, but there's just not any out there right now, so their schedule is empty, but their website is not. PL-259.com for all of your connector, adapter, and PL259 needs. Ham Talk Live is on the air every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, right here at hamtalklive.com. Be sure to check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and it's time for your phone calls right now. So if you have a question for Andy and Tony, give us a call. Let me give you the phone number. It's 859-982-7373. Again, 859-982-7373. Or you can tweet us. It's at Ham Talk Live on Twitter. And if you're listening to us on WTWW or the podcast edition, you won't be able to reach us because we're doing this live on Thursday night. So we won't be able to take your calls. But right now, if you're listening live, we can at 859-982-7373. So the trash talking continued during the break with the Go Gators thing. So this may be the time. I haven't mentioned this yet on the show. If you noticed, if you're a long-time listener of the show and maybe a first-time caller, but if you're a long-time listener of the show, you know we used to have a different phone number. We had 812-NET-HAM1, which we actually still have as a backup, but the new phone number is 859-982-7373, and that was a little bit because I'm planning on moving to 859 soon. But also, Andy, do you know what 859 spells out on the telephone?
I need to get my phone out and look at that, but something tells me it's not Gators.
It's not Gators.
Yes. 352 is FLA.
And then you've got the 321 for 321 liftoff over there to your east. But 859 is the area code in central and northern Kentucky, and it spells UKY.
Oh, I see what you did there. It's okay.
So-
We'll get you a 352 number. You can support the gators that
there
way.
we go. So call UKY 982-7373. It seemed like the perfect night to bring that little tidbit out. So there we go. So give us a call if you have a question. We're talking about the pandemic. We're talking about college clubs. How has this impacted the college clubs? Have you heard from various clubs, and how's this messed it up? I can tell you, it's brought my high school club to a grinding halt. I can tell you that. What are you hearing from others?
Yeah, I mean, as you'd expect, it's been a big adjustment, I think, for a lot of clubs. I'll say that I've been kind of surprised by how active clubs have been despite this, and tried to be even over the summer. They're doing regular online, Zoom type meetings. That's kind of expected, but they're trying to do some other events too. If they can do a social distanced fox hunt, there's been talk about that, or organizing, maybe like a 2-meter contest local that people don't get together and do. So I think they're finding a way. The remote shack project, I mean, this is a good excuse to get that set up and working. So, it's a big challenge for some, or for everyone really. I know some will probably have a much harder time than others, but I think a lot of the clubs are really finding a way to still be active, get things done. Although the situation's unique for everyone. Some schools, they can't have anybody in the shack. Some, they're limited to how many they can go in the shack. They're finding a way from what we've heard.
Okay, well, there's like you said, every situation is its own case, and we were in the middle of antenna repairs when all of this hit, so we've got some rebuilding to do. Well, we've got a few comments here on Spreaker. So Troy W9KVR says we need to get Sean KX9X to get his alma mater, University of Illinois, on the air, and I remember working with them at some point. Let's see. John W4USF says go Hoosiers. He's in Florida, but he was a member of the K9IU radio club back in the early 70s, and there's a great tri-band beam still in operation on the Memorial Union up at the top. I've been up there many times, and it is going strong over there. So good to hear you, John, in here tonight. And so we've got some Big Ten stuff going here with Illinois and Indiana, and we've got SEC with the Gators and the Kentucky Wildcats. So 859-982-7373. Yes.
Activating your club is definitely something that this QSO Party is great for. We've actually gotten a couple of emails from folks saying, hey, the club isn't currently active, but I know the trustee, I'm an alumni, I'm still involved with, campus and all that. Can I activate the club? And there will be a few clubs on the air for the QSO Party that don't have active student clubs right now, but they're alumni that want to participate and use it as a way to sort of encourage students to, get on the air and get active. So might not result in an active club this year, but it's definitely something that, they can share their experience and, share a little bit of the promotion and all that of, the college club. And it's kind of fun to go back and activate your alma mater.
Now, Troy's at Glen Raymond Middle School, and he says that since his classroom is the shack, he's got room to social distance. So you may hear W9GRS on the air. So we can get some other schools involved as well. 859-982-7373 is the phone number if you'd like to call in and chime in or ask a question here. We have Andy Milluzzi, KK4LWR, and Tony Milluzzi, KD8RTT, with us tonight. Let's talk a little bit about Cary while we're here, too. What are some of the other collegiate ham radio events that will be coming up here in the fall and in the winter?
Well, I think the most recurring one, and the one we'd love to see folks get involved with, is our monthly calls. So the ARL has been really gracious and provided the use of their GoToWebinar platform so that we can have our monthly calls. So we meet the second Tuesday of every month at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, and we share topics or just discuss things as a group. So the last couple have focused a lot on COVID and the Collegiate QSO Party, but we had Case talk about a really cool project where the civil engineers help plan out their optimal antenna locations for their field day site, given the structures in the area. We heard about Cal Poly and their their remote shack. We've heard a little bit about HAMSI involvement from a few different schools. So a lot of really great content shared on those calls, and I think that's probably the best way, besides the Facebook group, to regularly be involved. We're getting about 20 to 30 folks from all over the nation, and even Canada joining in. So it's a really cool way to to sort of network with the different schools and sort of hear what's going on. So that's the big carry regular meetings, and then obviously we get together in person at Dayton and at Orlando, and try and have that month in person, and put some eyeballs on those faces that we've only talked to on the radio.
Yeah, and the other kind of events coming up, of course, School Club Roundup, which is in October and February every year. So of course, college stations will participate in that. The other one is the North American Collegiate Championship, which runs with North American QSO Party in January and February for Phone and RIDI. So there's a collegiate aspect to that too. So there's events spread out throughout the year. And like Andy said, with the calls we do every month, we're kind of bridging things, keeping things going, and trying to support the best we can in between everything.
All right. Sounds like some good stuff. And yeah, School Club Roundup is a little over a month away, believe it or not. So look forward to hearing some schools on as they can. I'm not sure if K9 SOUs are going to be on there for this time. We'll see. That'd be first in a very long time if we're not, but we'll see how that goes. 859-982-7373 is the phone number. We're going to finish things up here with Tony and Andy, so if you want to call in, now's the time to do it. We're going to wrap things up here pretty shortly, so give us a call, 859-982-7373, or we've got at Ham Talk Live on Twitter, and also the comments on Spreaker, where Troy W9KVR says, if we don't get shut down, we'll be there. So there you go.
It's fun, Neil, looking back at that, because that's how me and Troy first met with School Club Roundup.
That is true.
7-8 years ago, something like that. It's really amazing what the different events can lead to. Some great friendships.
I get an email from you saying, "Hey, can we put an article together?" And Troy, and now here we are 8 years later, and we're all still working with school clubs. So it's been great. Troy's stopped in over here. I haven't been over there yet. I need to do that. And of course, was able to visit you at the Disney station. So you've got some, we'll go ahead and mention it here since we've got some time. You got some exciting news for the Disney Club station.
Yeah, we're going to have a new beam put up on the shack here with lead times and, contractors and all that. It looks like it'll be November, but yeah, pretty pumped about that. But we are on the air right now. We got a vertical up, and it's set up and working well. So I'll be working most likely the QSO Party from the Disney station with the Disney call sign, having some fun doing that. And my goal is we have some new QSL cards this year, and I want to work every, every college club I can during the QSO party and send them one of the cool new Disney QSL cards. As hopefully that'll be a new student's first contact or something, and they get a cool memento out of that. So I'm looking forward to that for the QSO party.
Now, are you going to wear your ears?
I'd have to find where they are. I think they're actually in my office at work, and we're work from home unless absolutely necessary. So I'm not sure I can justify to my director that it's necessary that I go into the office to pick them up for the QSO party.
Yeah, well.
But I'll wear a Gator shirt, though. I'll make sure I wear a Gator shirt just so you can,
Sure. Well, Troy says he enjoyed his visit to the famed K9 SOU shack. I'm not sure where it's famed, but, well, yeah. And watch Patrick rack up the queues, and Patrick's been working quite a bit at SpaceX. He's been running around trying to get some satellites going and some rockets up there and all that kind of good stuff, so... Those were the days.
Yeah, that reminds me, though, at the QSO party, satellite contacts are totally allowed. VHF and up is totally allowed for it. So if you don't have access to a big HF station, you can, work the contest locally. And
there's some bonus point kind of ideas. Similar, some of them is kind of similar to Field Day in some ways. Encourage you to do some formal message handling if you want, and public operation type stuff. So yeah, there's, like you said, not just HF Superstation. You can get involved and earn points doing a lot of different things.
And you never know where those contacts go. Amateur radio has come up in job interviews for me, and I know it's come up for Tony. So you never know, the person you might be talking to on the radio might be your next employer. So for the students out there that might be listening, it's another reason to get on the air with the QSO party is you can build up your network.
Yeah. Now, speaking of the satellites, Tony, what grid square are we going to be hearing you from on the Collegiate QSO party?
Yep, I'll be Echo Mike 28 here. So Kansas City area is where I'm at, and I'm planning to be on. Should be on satellites and HF for that, is what I'm thinking right now.
All right, sounds good. And Troy says maybe we need to collaborate on yet another QST article.
I think that'd be great. I'd be all for that. That was fun last time. We should do it again.
Yeah, it was. Well, let's see. That was using Simplex during School Club Roundup, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. Yep, yeah. And working, alumni and those in the local community.
And that's something we still do. We still do that. Monday night after the local net, we go over to Simplex and we take all the calls we can get as long as we have an antenna. We couldn't do it last time because we didn't have an antenna because they took it down to put a new roof on, but... normally we still do that after that article. So that's,
and I mean, that's a great cool thing too for the Collegiate QSO party. If you want to email all the alumni in your community, or like when I was at UF, we didn't, do amateur radio in a vacuum at UF. We had the Gainesville Amateur Radio Society, which was a great, local community group. And when we were on the air working something, we made sure we let them know. We'd send an email to their secretary so it could get out and get announced at their meetings. And we get a whole bunch of, just community members, some, alumni, some folks just big Gator fans, and others just, lived in Gainesville, wanted to connect with us. And that's totally an acceptable way to get on the air with, the Collegiate QSO party, and if you are working the QSO party and you talk to a school club, definitely spot them, out there and, help others to find them. I know the clubs would appreciate that because they'll appreciate the cues, but also it's kind of fun to see your club call sign scrolling through on like dxsummit.fi or any of the other spotting networks as you're browsing for the next cue.
Yeah, that's always good to see, and it always helps bring in some pileups. So that's excellent idea. Okay, well, I think we are through all of the comments tonight that have been typed in, and phone lines are open, but looks like everybody's typing tonight, so we're going to close things down here for the night. So just a quick recap, guys, of the dates, the exchange, the website, all that must-know information. And now he's tweeting Go Gators. So remind us of all that need-to-know information, guys.
Yep. So again, it'll take place September 19th and 20th, Saturday, Sunday. CollegiateQSOParty.com has all the information. And again, doesn't matter, you don't have to be associated with a college club at all. We're encouraging that, of course, but if you're just an individual or an alumni or faculty, staff, whatever, definitely we want you to participate. And there's different classes for those different things. There's different groups of people. And we hope to see you on the air.
Yeah. And logs are due, about 30 days after the event. We make it nice and flexible there. And there are award plaques given out for the top folks in each of the categories. So definitely a cool way to, get some recognition, especially for some of these clubs that maybe, don't have the best station and aren't competitive in other events. It's a cool way to get a plaque and sort of help motivate the club move forward. So, definitely give us a shout. If you're a student that doesn't have a club at your school, you can still participate as a school club and as a collegiate station. So, check out the rules. There's lots of ways to get involved with this. And even if, like I said, you're not involved at all, in 9 days, if you're just browsing the airwaves and you hear some school clubs, give them a shout, and feel free to submit a log and just have some fun with it. The goal is to be fun and sort of enjoy the hobby and promote it among some of our newest members.
All right, there you go. Collegiate QSO Party, collegiateqsoparty.com. And guys, always great to talk to you. Thanks for coming back, and hope to hear you on the air soon.
Yeah, looking forward to it. I need to get you in the logbook. I haven't gotten RF contact from you in a little bit, so we'll need to work on that.
Yeah, I think
Thanks, Neil.
It was satellite.
Yeah, it's been a while, though. We've done more eyeball QSOs and voice QSOs than
this is
an
true.
RF. So
this is true. All right, and Tony, yes, thanks for being on, and we look forward to what was that, Echo Mike 23?
28.
28. Okay.
Yep.
And you too far south. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Or something like that. That's why I use a map.
Man, the Twitter war is beginning.
The Twitter war is beginning. Yes, it is. So. Oh, we got to get our collegiate rivalry fired up here for the Collegiate QSO Party. So, if you're on Twitter, you can check that out. So, all right, guys, we'll say 7-3. Thanks so much, and thanks for putting in all of the effort on this, because I know you all have spent a lot of time thinking this through and coming up with all the plans. And John W4USF also says, thanks for your service to ham radio growth, and especially among the younger hams. So I echo that completely, and thanks for being here to talk about it.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
All right. That is a wrap for this week's edition of Ham Talk Live. Thanks to my guests, Andy Milluzzi, KK4LWR, and Tony Milluzzi, KD8RTT, and everyone out there in cyberspace for typing in tonight, and invite you back next Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And this is hot off the press here. Next week's topic, we're going to be talking about that new radio on the International Space Station. So we'll get all the details on that, and I know that's a big thing right now, and I'm chomping at the bit to try it out. So we'll be talking about that next week, so make sure you tune in for that. And for a list of all of our upcoming guests, visit hamtalklive.com. And if you like the show, please leave us a review. That helps other people find the show and find us a little faster. So for now, this is Neil Rapp, WB9VPG, saying 7375, and may the good DX be yours.